Hello, it's Lisa Jones with Goldyn Duffy, and we are
The
the
Real
real ones.
Ones. Hey guys, we're coming at you today in recording instead of live because this is what's working for our life experience. So here you go.
That's right.
We've got some exciting stuff to share once again as we allow our intuitive nature to just come and flow and be with us and be one with we have a very special guest today that I'm really excited about. So, Lise, opening this up, like, what are you feeling like? Because, everything is about feeling, right? So it's like, okay, so we just got through our morning and we're jumping into this recording. And so like, what is your overall feeling right now?
I am feeling super jazzed and excited about life. I just had an amazing morning. I got up early. The moon was setting, right into the ocean. It's a full moon today. And I just had the inspiration to jump out of bed at 6:30 and go down to the beach. And it was epic. And I ran into somebody who is near and dear to me. And
can you share that, or are you going to be mysterious? Maybe
yeah,
wait.
Okay. I'll wait.
It's up to you, but I feel like there's some more cool stories coming.
Yeah, I think so. I think I'd like to keep
say.
the energy. I'm going to keep the energy just kind of
clean.
just clean there. But anyway, it was really epic, and my dog played a big part in it. So I got to have a conversation with somebody that I'm just so excited to be connected with. So
that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
What was I going to say? So,
and how are you feeling this morning?
I'm doing pretty well. Yeah, I'm feeling a lot of support from the universe right now. And I'm feeling a lot of, even though like yesterday I had some anger coming up. For those of you that don't know, my daughter left for boot camp on Monday for the Marines. And we have like no communication with her. So there's been this feeling of loss. There's been this feeling of grief. There's this feeling of, oh my God, what did we do? And where's our baby? And so yesterday I had like this anger, there's some anger coming up. And so this morning I really meditate on like, what's this anger all about? And it's really just the fear, it's just the fear of the unknown and not being able to connect with her. And it's detaching at another level. That's like been my theme this year is detachment from my children who are like, my life, they're everything. So yeah, I'm learning that at a whole new level, and it's pretty epic. And I'm feeling kind of like, I feel like I've been being held underwater. And today I feel like I was able to just take a breath. So thank you, meditation. And thank you for being aware of my feelings. And I've been a little afraid to go there, I think, trying to avoid it in some ways, being over busy. And so once we settle in and get tired of feeling that way, meditation is the lifeline.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the whole letting go of the resistance of it, like resisting the anger, resisting the upset, resisting what's not happening. I feel like that's, a huge shift. And especially like for me, even, meeting this person on the beach, it's like, I've wanted it so badly, and it just has been kept from me. But as soon as I literally in the last few days was just like, whatever, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And so it's happened now twice in this week. So very exciting.
That's so amazing. Cause I was listening to a video this morning, an Abraham video, and she was talking about the difference between someone who is seeking healing and someone who just releases and relaxes and allows wellness. And I was like,
my God.
Next level.
And I mentioned to you, I've got a friend, and I'm hoping that we could get him on the show, but he's just gone through a cancer experience. And he said, as soon as he just opened up and just allowed it to be what it is, he's like, the tumor shrunk. I mean, he just got the report back from his doctor that is like, I've never seen like this, dramatic of a change before. And he's like, I feel like it's because, he just completely let go and allowed. And that's what happens. A lot of people that have spontaneous healings, it's because at the ninth hour, when there's really nothing else to be done, they finally release and let go. And then boom, that's when the miracle happens.
Finally.
So it's really about letting go.
If you're aware of your energy field,
yeah.
You can feel when you're desperately chasing after something, which means you're in the problem energy. And then once you let go and release and put yourself in receiving mode, you're in solution energy, and then the solutions can come. That also is like when the universe is invited in. That's when our physical support is invited in, because we stop believing that it's all up to us and we have faith and trust that we're being supported. And I have seen miracle after miracle after miracle in my own life with things that I have struggled with that just, I mean, we could have show after show after show of the miracles we've experienced.
Oh yeah.
And non-physical support that's come in, like the support even on our page. This woman wasn't even in the Real One. Someone tagged her. She's a Marine mom. And she's like all about, I'm getting the chills, like all about, like my heart was just like,
oh my God. I'm like ready to burst into tears. Just you saying those words. I just feel the emotion and the connection there. That is just beautiful.
It's like support on a whole new level. And as much as you feel like, it's social media and these are strangers, it's like people who are loving and compassionate and have been through your journey are here to shine the light back to you.
Absolutely.
And that's what our challenges are all about. Our challenges, our contrasts, it's all about what we can bring back to other people.
That's right. That's right. Well, and to me, that's one of the best things about social media is when we need support from other human beings. Like when you have a death in the family, when you're going through a struggle of, your daughter goes to the Marines and, suddenly you can't communicate with her. I mean, just to have somebody that's walked those shoes and been there before. I mean, it's life changing. And to me, that's the way it is with spirit, with the non-physical, they're there all the time for us because we can't see them. We don't always rely or depend on them, but it's like social media. It's like, just imagine your spirit guides as your social media team, and, they are there to help you always. So just always rely on them. And again, reach out in social media for help when you need it, because people are there to do it.
Absolutely. So let's bring our guest in. I have something to say, but I think I want her to be on when I say this.
Okay, cool.
So this woman I actually met on Facebook. Thank you, Facebook, once again. She was a resident in my town. She was in my group. And we had a couple of exchanges that made us feel like we really needed to meet. And, she's living life on the leading edge. And I just love people like that. They just kind of like, sell everything, move, get divorced, like all of these things. And they do it in a place of trust and faith and work through so much anxiety and fear. And I read her book that is it's such a beautiful book and such a beautiful testimony to, ending a marriage that was like so long and had so much involved in it. And I think anyone who's going through like a breakup of a relationship needs to read her book. So
wow, cool.
Talk about that, but we have, is she coming back in?
Yeah, she's ready to come in. Are you ready to introduce her? Okay.
All right.
There we are. Hey.
With us today. Hey, Tammy.
Hey, Tammy. Welcome to the Real Ones.
Hello.
So great to have you here.
Thank you.
I know, it's wonderful, Tammy. So I wanted to bring you in, and I just gave like a tiny synopsis of your story. But one thing I wanted to say that came to me really strongly this morning is about what the Real Ones is all about. And for us, it's about waking up. So it's helping people to wake up, but it's also about helping people to stay woke. It's about helping people to remember, because our tendency in this human experience is to forget and to go back into fears and anxieties. And I know you have worked through such a lifetime of fear and just embracing your autonomy in this experience and being an individual in a spiritual experience. So I am so excited to have you here and hear what you have to say to our incredible audience. So welcome.
Thank you.
So yeah, why don't you start by just telling us, a little bit about your story and again,
wherever you feel led, right?
Yeah, wherever you feel led.
It's a huge story. To start, I grew up poor. And it was stereotypical poor family, teenage mom and moving constantly and not having dinner a lot of times. And so I grew up with that, and I saw that there was something else that I wanted, that I didn't feel like I was where I was supposed to be. So, I created this whole, I wanted the college degree, I wanted this, I wanted that, and I created that. And I'm a former professor, psychology professor, and I had the white picket fence, the suburban house, the great marriage, we took vacations and 4 kids, and everything looked great. And then one day I just thought, everything's not great. It was great for over here. That was what I needed then. But I just saw that everything wasn't great and I wasn't living authentically me. I had created something I thought was supposed to be me, but it wasn't. And so, I went through a divorce a few years ago. I asked for a divorce. I moved out, and
how long were you guys married?
30 years.
Oh my God. So that's a huge step.
You tell yourself, I need to work on it. I need to, this looks good for society. This looks good for other people. And I did. I worked on it, and I did what I thought I was supposed to do according to what other people had dictated. And
Lisa, can you relate to this or what?
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, big time. It's
like that spiritual awakening that happens where your soul is just like, you can't do this anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, like you said, it looks so good from the outside. And what I always came back to is at the end of the night, when I laid my head on my pillow, nobody gave a crap about me or what my marriage looked like or what it didn't look like or whatever. And yet during the day when I'm walking around, I was so concerned about what everybody thought of, that I was doing the right thing. And, because again, I was living we lived on a golf course in a, gated community. We had a yacht club in our backyard. I mean, my friends had, $300,000 yachts and $1 million yachts, and we'd go, take the yacht out for dinner.
You should be happy.
I should be happy.
It's not happy with this, right? Like
it's
everyone's living this.
Yeah.
This is the American dream you're living,
right.
And it's like you should be happy. You shouldn't not appreciate this.
That's right. Yeah. And then you think, what's wrong with me, right? That's what happened with you,
and
Tammy.
That's what people told me. That's what I told myself.
Yes.
And that's what they would say, can't you just be okay with
right?
Being okay? I want to be happy. But part of me was like, do I deserve that?
Right.
I have good things.
Right.
I have an okay marriage.
Yeah. I should be happy. I should. Yeah. Stop shitting on yourself.
Yeah. And that's what my therapist said. So when I went through the divorce, I moved out of the house and I got my own little house, and my therapist told me, stop shitting on yourself. I spent a couple years, just healing. I had a lot of other life things happening, couple years healing. And then one morning, I was in Michigan at the time, and one morning I was headed out the door, to do my routine that I would write in the morning. I would see my daughter in the afternoon. I had this little routine, this safety that I had built up. And I remember standing with my computer, with everything. I was ready to go out the door, and I thought, what am I doing? Why am I here? California had always called to me. Every time we'd be on vacation, I'd be like, I'm home. This is my home. And I'm in LA right now. And I remember thinking that, headed out the door, I put my bag down, I called my realtor, and I said, list my house. I'm moving to California.
Oh my God. I just have to tell you, Tammy, as you say those words, I literally just want to burst into tears, because that's exactly the way I felt about Hawaii. Like from the minute I landed here when I was 16, I'm like, oh my God, I am home. And when am I moving here? When am I moving here? And then, I had to do it.
I remember I actually started in Orange County. When I first came out, I started in Orange County, and I've told Goldyn before, I remember when we were on vacation once at Laguna Beach, I remember facing away from the ocean and facing up to the hills and thinking, wouldn't it be so cool to live here? The people here are so lucky that this is their home. And then that's where I ended up, was right there. And I remember, Goldyn, I don't know if I were with you or.
Yeah, you were. We went to the montage, and you were like, I've been here. It was so crazy. I was like, I have to bring you to my favorite spot in Laguna. And we go, and you're like, I've already been here.
Oh my gosh.
I remember that. So I started there, and then just, when I went through the divorce, I'm like, I'm going to start listening to my heart, to the call. My head had always bullied me and told me, this is how you're supposed to act. This is what you're supposed to do. I remember just saying, I'm going to listen to the call, even if it doesn't make sense. I'm going to follow it. And last year in April, I followed the call again. I heard, I was sitting in Culver City, downtown Culver City near LA. And I remember telling my daughter, I was visiting her, and I said, I live here. The same thing. I live here. I don't know how it happens or why I live here, because I was happy where I was. And, I got to see Goldyn a lot. We visited, and it was nice. But I thought, it doesn't make sense in my head, but I know that I live here, and my soul is already there. So I'm going to follow. So.
I love it. I love you saying you're going to, what would you say? Follow the call. Heart.
Listen to my heart.
Yeah, listen to the heart and follow your call. That is brilliant. And I have to say too, it's so interesting because I'm thinking back also when I met both my first husband and my second husband, immediately the minute I laid eyes on them, not even like my second husband, I didn't even see his face. I just saw the back of him. And in my head, I heard, now there's a man I could marry. And I heard, and so to me, both of my marriages were absolutely perfect for the time that I had them. And the same with Hawaii, it's like just that knowing and then listening to your heart and not, walking away from it.
Once you do that, it's funny how, you can be on the struggle bus, the cliche struggle bus, but when you listen to that, how things just line up and they push you out there.
Yes.
So true. It's so absolutely true. I mean, it's a testament to our destiny, like living our destinies and not living from that mind of fear that's always going to try to talk you out of it. It makes me think of my daughter because she just went to Marine boot camp, and she said to me the night we dropped her off, she said, there were so many times I could have gotten out of this and I didn't. And I'm like, that's when like your soul is pushing you beyond where your mind wants to stay safe, right?
Oh, I got chills when he said that.
Following your heart is not easy. It's not easy, people. Like, you are going to go through so much fire.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, the capacity for joy is enormous.
And that's the thing, like when I moved to California, so I called my realtor and I told her to list my house. And I just started strategizing, and I thought, I'll sell all my stuff and buy new when I get out there. It'll be cheaper that way. I have a dog and a cat. I was driving solo. So I sold everything I had, gave it away, packed up my Prius that was my new life, and my dog and my cat, and drove solo out. And, I had so many people who told me, well, I would do what you are doing, but this.
Right.
And I'm like, I have that. I would do what you're doing, but I don't think that would work. And honestly, I wasn't sure it would work out for me.
We're never sure, right?
Yeah. I'm like,
wow.
I have reasons and fears and all of that. But
do you have a story, Tammy, about one of those where you just were like, this is insane? I mean, obviously what you've done is insane and you did it anyway, but I mean, like any specific thing where you were just like down to your last,
Yeah. Any stories coming up?
Yeah. Any story popping up that's like.
Just from the drive out. So I did drive solo out, and so many things changed. I moved to a place I knew nobody knew my name. There was nobody there. And, but one of the days, it took me 3 days driving out. And when I look back, I'm like, one of the days was a 14-hour drive. And I can't drive more than maybe 4 hours, and then I'm like, this is time to like be free. I can't do it. I need out. But when I look back, I'm like, you drove 14 hours. How did that even happen? How did it happen? But, I just know like the universe is with me. And they wanted me out here for whatever reason, at the time I didn't know, but like I said, everything just pushed me forward.
Your desire was driving. Your desire was in the driver's seat.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Seriously, Tammy, I'm like just reminiscing because I drove my car from South Carolina all the way to LA by myself. And I was like, I mean, I didn't think I could even do that. The same thing. I'm not a long distance driver. And I look back and it was one of the best experiences of my life, driving across the country solo.
Very empowering.
Very empowering. Yeah.
But
Tammy,
when I look back at it, I'm like, how did I make
yes. Tammy, what's the name of the first book that you wrote? Because I think people need to read that book. That book was so beautiful and such a testimony to just, you know, taking this leap of faith and leaving what you've ever known. And I don't know, it's a beautiful story. I mean, you have a lot of books out, but that one in particular for me was really special. So can you share the name of that? I know it's on Amazon.
That's actually the story of this trip, you know, the healing through the divorce and then the drive out. That's the story of that. If the Crown Fits. Okay, and it's on Amazon. It's available on Amazon, If the Crown Fits. And that's part of the journey. You know, I got in California and I was in Orange County and I'm just like, okay, what? You know, why am I here? And I just heard rest, you know, and I just did nothing. I did nothing. I enjoyed the beauty all around me. I enjoyed the, you know, the space and the people I met. That's where I met you, Goldyn. And then when I got to Los Angeles, I'm like, same thing. Why am I here? I don't know. But there was such a creative energy about the place. And as soon as I got here, it was just bam, 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 writing.
Yeah.
And I just like every morning I'd get up and I'd be like, what? I just am like in the coffee shop all the time, right? You know, but that's what I heard. Get these books out because we have something else for you. Wow. It's super important to get these books out because you've got something big to do and but these have to exist first.
Love it.
So If the Crown Fits.
I love it.
That is amazing.
And it's also just a testimony to not really knowing what you're doing because I've watched your journey and it's like, and same for me. I mean, the creative edge, there's so much resistance and creativity because, you know, we're not only putting ourselves out there, but we're risking a lot when we do that because we're putting out our creative juices and everything that we believe in it. And it can be, you know, there can be backlash to that. So it's like, we have to overcome so much resistance. Mm-hmm. And for you, I mean, you formatted your books, you got them up on Amazon, like tell people that if they want to write something, if they want to put a story out into the world, that it is totally doable.
It's totally possible. I look at them and it's like, I can write. I am a writer, but I can't design. Can I say shit? I can't design for shit. I can't.
But I think that's changing, Tammy. I think that whole belief system around you, I mean, you are shaking it up.
Yeah.
That's how we defy these things, these old
belief systems. It is possible. Mm-hmm. You know, I had no idea how to even when I first heard you need to put a book out there, I'm like arguing with my guides. I'm like, what would I even write about? What do I even have to write about? And then I have no idea how to do that. But I just like step by step. They're not perfect. They're not. That's why I like your podcasts here and your site because it's me being in front of other people and all my imperfection. But, you know, I go back to Lisa's comment earlier about driving out and not being happy. And I think the hardest thing to overcome is not making the book itself, but the hardest thing to overcome has been other people's attitudes toward what I'm doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm listening to the call. I'm being authentically me now. I'm not being anything that anybody else I feel I should be or they want me to be. I'm listening to what the universe is telling me. This is what you're here to do. And not everybody's on board with that.
I think it's so funny too, because most of the time the people, and judgment always is about what we have going on inside. So when someone is judging us, it's important for us to go in and say, you know, where is this inside of me? Because if they were judging me and saying this and I didn't have healing to do, it wouldn't bother me. I wouldn't really care. I'd say, hey, they don't know, you know, they don't know me. They don't really know my story. But a lot of times it's people sitting in their safe spaces and looking at us and going, oh God, I would never do that because there's no security involved in that. When the reality is there's no security involved in any of this for any of us.
Yeah. You know? And the really cool thing is that I've heard so many stories of people, you know, friends who've done their own thing. Oh, you know, when you put that really inspired me. When we are truly who we are, you know, we encourage other people to do that. And it's just so fun to watch people step into why they are here, who they are.
I love it. Well, what advice?
Permission slip, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I was just going to say, Tammy, so what advice would you give people if they're kind of sitting on the fence, like, oh my God, I feel a calling to do something, but they're just, you know, stuck in their story and scared?
I would say just take one tiny step toward, you know, to think about, here's a great example, to think about selling everything I own and moving out, driving out solo to Cal. That's huge. But I remember before I even had a plan to move to California, it was in my head, it was a knowing. And I remember that I went through my little house and I would wash the windows and I washed the baseboards, and people would say, what do you do? You know, are you spring cleaning? And I would say, no, I'm getting the house ready for when I move to California.
Wow. I love it. I love it.
I don't know.
I just have to say I mean, cause I think that's it. People hear our story. Like, you know, I just got in my car and drove basically to LA and left all of my stuff. I mean, I sent 2 boxes or something to Hawaii, but before that, you know, there was so many things, little tiny steps that preceded that. And so people, I think that we jumped off the cliff, but you know, there's a lot of steps that get you to the cliff.
I mean, and that's the other thing, you know, is what we've talked about. Everything is choice.
Yeah.
And before that, there was a lot of darkness, you know, and that's what people don't see. They see you just like, bam, you're out there. Before that, there was darkness. There was divorce. There were people who dropped me out of their lives. There, you know, in the book, I talk about, I was just crying. I was laying on my floor crying in the middle of my living room into the carpet. You know, there was a lot of darkness, and there were making the choice to follow your call, to follow your heart. That's powerfully, that's empowering, but it's also, there are consequences to that you may not be comfortable with. And that's the thing, you know, thing to know, like, yes, if it's inside of you and you take that tiny step, act as if, move forward in that direction, pretend it already exists. But there will be things that you may have to deal with that.
There will be things that.
There's quite a lot of uncomfortability and the unknown, the uncertain.
Yeah.
But that's where our faith is built. You know, I think that's one of the most important things that I've found in this journey is every single contrast, every challenge has created such a strong foundation of faith for me that I can speak from a level of confidence because I've been through so much shit and I know it always works out, that I'm able to share that with people to say, I know you're going through it right now, but I promise you it's going to get better, and it's going to get better and better and better because we're moving forward.
And I feel like the joy that comes from taking those, you know, dark paths or whatever. I mean, you can't even imagine the joy that you have on the other side. Whereas otherwise you're just kind of flatlining. I had this analogy, my guides had mentioned it, you know, our heartbeat, what beats our heart, it goes up and down, up and down, up and down, right? Well, that's life. And if you don't have the ups and downs, you're flatlining. And that's what a lot of people spend their life doing, is flatlining and just trying to keep a comfortable existence and not have any ups and downs. And guess what? Yeah, it's not, to me, a life. I don't want to live a life flatlined. I want to take the highs, and I'm willing to take the lows with it, because it always takes me to a place that is just far beyond what I could have imagined.
Well, that's where I got to, you know, it was like with the marriage, I was okay. You know, it was an okay marriage. It everything was comfortable, but it was just okay. You know, I wasn't happy. And I thought, is this how I want to live? You know, we get in our routines and we get in our, and it's okay.
Right.
You know, and we think, well, I can't complain, or why should I want something more or different?
Which is a worthiness thing. You know, that's you really stepping into your worthiness. I mean, as your childhood, as you're growing up, and as you're seeing, like, you know, having to fight for survival and having to fight for just the basic needs, you could get
Well,
this.
and that's what I always heard, just be happy with what you have.
Exactly. So then you get this like worthiness thing where it's like, well, I'm only worthy enough to get by. I'm only worthy enough to be okay. Like my bills are paid. I got food on my table. I have a man to come home to, all of that stuff. But then when we have these deeper knowings and this awakening going on, you can't ignore that. It will not leave you alone.
It won't let you ignore it.
Well, that's a really good point. It won't let you ignore it. And it's ironically, my ex-husband's the one who told me this, because when I met him right after my first husband passed away, I was so happy and so, in love. And yet I was scared, because I'm like, I told him, I said, I've never been this happy before. And I'm just feeling like the shoe is going to drop, something bad's going to happen. And he said, oh my God, Lisa, there's no limit to happiness. Like, just break through that glass ceiling and just embrace it in this moment, because, holding yourself from really enjoying the moment is just denying yourself, so that's the thing. You got to go with the highs and you go with the lows. But I love that idea of breaking through the glass ceiling of happiness,
Yeah, I think sometimes people are afraid of that.
Yeah.
We block ourselves.
Yeah, totally.
It's not always society. It's not always a relationship. Sometimes we block it because we're afraid. It's almost like we're afraid to experience that joy and that happiness.
Yeah, absolutely. We think by bracing ourselves and not allowing ourselves to go too high, then we're not going to go too low either. Once again, back to that flatlining. And it's just, to me, the more I've learned of following my heart and just experiencing life to the fullest, is it's like, wow, peaks and valleys, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And that's what calls more joy, and that's what calls the desire is what calls more joy. So as we listen to those desires and walk through them, sure, it's going to be messy. Like breaking through a glass ceiling is pretty messy, right?
Yeah.
But on the other side of it, it's like we become these new beings. We become this identity of realizing that we're limitless and that we are always supported in our universal support.
Yeah, so cool. Well, wow, Tammy, it's been such a thrill chatting with you. Thank you for sharing your time, and we're so excited to share your book. What is it? If the Crown Fits?
Yep.
If the Crown Fits. It's on.
I've got a couple of them out there. I would friend Tammy, follow her. I mean, I can just see your journey as just like, I can see you're just walking through some.
Started. Yeah, just started.
Yeah. Awesome.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. And we be sure to, again, follow Tammy and check her out. You're on the Real Ones with us. Yeah. So yeah, awesome. Start a conversation with Tammy and the Real Ones.
All right. Thanks, Tammy.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see here. All right. We're going to say goodbye to Tammy.
Bye, Tammy.
Bye. Thank you.
Wow, what a story.
I loved it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yes. So we are now, let's see, what do you want to do? Any more conversation before we wrap it up ourselves?
I mean, there was a lot of meat in that conversation. And I think if we can give people the little bit of confidence and belief that no matter what it is, no matter what is calling your heart, that there is a very specific reason that is calling to your heart. And there is a very specific plan that's going to unfold as you say yes. And this was funny. The other day I went to go get my passport redone because I changed my name a few years ago. And the guy said to me, he goes, "Oh, are you going somewhere exciting?" I'm like, "Yeah, I hope so." And he goes, "Oh," I said, "I don't have any like direct plans, but this is my way of telling the universe, yes, I am ready to travel." And he was like, "That is so cool." So it's like, sometimes we have these inspirations that don't make a lot of sense. Like, why should I pay $110 to get my passport redone right now when I have no plan planned? And it's like, well, you don't know what the universe has planned for you. And that little inkling, that little thought in your mind that says, like, Lisa woke up at 3:00 in the morning and said, "Goldyn needs to get her passport done." I'm like, I'm listening.
Exactly. Oh gosh, my whole body just chilled when you said that. Yeah.
So like these little things that are coming in that say go right instead of left, or stop at this store right now. You don't know what the universe has planned for you. And my husband will say this all the time: when he doesn't listen to that voice, he definitely sees something that unfolds that was unwanted because he didn't listen to that voice. And whenever he listens, like all this cool shit comes, you know?
Oh,
Like,
totally. Yeah. It's a total missed opportunity when you don't listen to that calling.
but we're learning, right? We're
Yes.
learning to
And
stay away
it's not a good or bad thing. It's just like, oh wow, yeah, I've got this internal guidance system that is really good and knows way more than my brain knows. Because I think that's what happens is we start relying on what we're thinking rather than our heart and what we're feeling within us.
Oh, absolutely. So I want to touch on the coaching program because we have that launching today.
Right.
Actually, it launched a couple days ago, but I want people to know that they can still come in, that these are recorded, that we are offering an individualized coaching experience, and that this will probably never be offered again live. I think
Right.
we're probably going to go into a different forum together. So I want people to understand that if they want to come in now, it's okay.
Yeah,
And
we can send you the recording of the teaching because the actual coaching with you, we turn off the recording. So that's all
and you will
confidential.
not be on video. I know a lot of people don't want to be on video. So we are
Right.
going to turn the video off for our participants unless during the coaching they want to be on video. So
Yeah, exactly. So you're right. So the link will be below this video and you can still sign up for that. And and just we'd love, in the comments, like if this resonates with you, like what is calling you right now? What are you resisting? What are you not doing in your life? Because we want to support you in that. And guess what? If you do the coaching with us, you will accomplish whatever it is that you are being called to do. Yeah.
that you're trying to ignore.
Yeah, that you're trying to ignore and that you want, more of in your life, because Goldyn and I and Tammy are 3 examples of people that have followed our heart's calling, and life just keeps getting better and better and better.
All 3 of us sold everything we owned and took what would fit into a car across the country.
Yes. Wow.
All 3 of us. I mean, how cool is that?
That is really cool. That is really cool. Yeah. And we want to be an inspiration. We want to inspire you. We want to, tell you that life just keeps getting better and better when you lean into that calling that is, coming from your heart. Because wow. And again, I can also attest to the fact that when I've channeled people and they, after they've passed away and they're just like, oh my God, if I had known that I could have done anything when I was in the physical, I would have been way more risky and way more, leading it with my heart rather than just playing it safe in my life.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So let's pull some cards.
Okay.
Cards.
Cool. Let's see.
Because of what you just said, I'm sure there's more that needs to be said about that.
Okay, cool.
Living life on the leading edge.
Yes, it is. Really, that's the only way to live. And I feel like our society has dumbed us down to feel like we have to live a certain way with, looking for, these societal norms, that
all of the programming's around
you live in a safe environment, and which again is none of it is safe. Everyone thinks they're creating the safety and there is no safety. You just never, your house could burn down tomorrow.
It's an illusion.
It is totally. Okay. So this is so cool. The first card, which is always a blockage card, is beginnings. So yeah, people are not wanting to start. They're wanting to stay safe. They're wanting to, just be like, oh no, I'm fine. I don't mind just waking up, going to work, coming home, watching television, going to sleep, and then doing it again. Groundhog Day, right?
Yep. And what's coming up for me on that in beginnings is that mental anguish of where you are right now and where you are keeping yourself is totally depleting the joy and the ecstatic adventure that you could be experiencing here.
Yeah. Wow. It's so true. So, oh my God. These just they always get better and better. So the action is love. And guess what? So not only is that, loving, it's a partner there in this picture, but at the same time, it's loving yourself. It's loving your heart. It's allowing your heart to be the action step. It's allowing the love of who you are and loving yourself enough to follow what you're being guided to do. Because again, that's kind of the secret of this whole life experience that we're having here on this earth plane, is to follow the love. And that is what opens the gates to the pearly, the pearly heaven. I mean, heaven is literally created here on earth when you follow your heart. So if you're feeling like you're living in hell right now, it's because you're not following your heart.
It's so true. And that card really sparked for me the fact that we are never alone. Whether you are in physical partnership with someone here, you are never alone. There is always guidance. There is always support. And we are always on this incredible journey of showing ourselves that we've got this non-physical army team support system that is going to show up through different people and different relationships.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, again, the more I've studied this and learned about it, I mean, really this whole experience that we're having is a hologram, and everybody that walks into your life is there to shine toward you, aspects of yourself that maybe you do and maybe you don't want to know or experience, but
So
it's
true.
never anybody else. It's always you. So if somebody, again, as we spoke of earlier, if you're offended by something somebody says, it's the offense is within. It's not them. Don't blame others. You got to take 100% responsibility. And if you're triggered, then it's like, wow, what is it inside of me? Where am I? Where do I have a trauma? Where do I have pain? And that's what it's about. It's not about the other person.
No.
And really be thankful. What's that?
I wrote that to someone this morning. Like, that's been the secret of my relationship and up-leveling my marriage, is asking myself, where is my stuff in this? Because if you're not in blame and resistance, you're going to heal something.
Absolutely. And that's what our partners are. That's what they're here to do, is to point out, like, where do we need healing? And if you've got a partner that's willing to do the work with you, well, then guess what? Like, you could have a partnership with anybody but again, people need to be willing to do the work.
Well,
but anyway,
not just in partnership, but also in society, like in our everyday relationships, people are going to reflect what you have going on within. So like the fears and all the things we're working towards, we're going to see that. The universe is going to give us evidence of that. Oh, I have something to bring up really quick.
Yeah.
Your painting that came to me this morning.
Oh, really?
Okay, yeah. So Lisa's got this, $7,000 painting, and she gets it across the world, across the country to her house. And then somebody, you wrap it in a fluffy blanket thinking it's going to be safe, and it gets hair attached to it. What were the feelings around the painting as you were moving it?
Oh, good question.
You were afraid it was going to get damaged.
Oh, you're right. I was, yeah.
So that came to me this morning.
So yeah, so I just created.
Why did that happen? Of course you were afraid. Now you're going to fix it. I know you are, but in that it's like, oh yeah, that's exactly how I was feeling. And the universe just gave me evidence of that.
Yeah. Yeah. You're absolutely right. And I'm looking at it over there right now. The hairy oil painting. But and it's also a testament to life doesn't stay the same, and also not to have attachments. I mean, there's so many metaphors for this whole experience, but I'm grateful for it. Obviously it's something I needed to learn, because guess what? It gives you wisdom. And that's what the outcome is when you follow your heart and you start seeing. And I think that's the fun part, is when you follow your heart and you actually start seeing the evidence of universe supporting you and has your back, and you're never alone. And, the reality of the joy that's beyond, anything that you can experience when you listen to your heart.
Absolutely. I am in full agreement of that. And I think that's the greatest path to wisdom, is living this life on the edge where we're constantly saying yes, even if it doesn't make sense logically, and just moving forward. All we have to do really is move forward.
Yeah.
It's when we stagnate and when we believe that we're stuck. We're never stuck. We are always moving. We are always evolving, but we have this belief that we're stuck. So our mind just kind of keeps us there. If we just take those little steps, like Tammy said, like, you can't sometimes think about the whole thing because it's so overwhelming.
Right.
I remember right before I moved to California, you and I met, we sat and had coffee together.
Yeah.
And you said to me, like, you pulled cards for me, and you said, you don't worry about these, like, the things I was worried about was like our credit score. Like, how are we going to get an apartment?
Right.
When our credit scores were like below 600, my husband's was like below 500. Like, how are we going to do that? And you're like, you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. Don't even think about that. It's not going to be, and sure enough, it wasn't a factor.
Like a $400 extra charge that we had at the time, thankfully, to get this apartment because of our credit scores. And it's like, there's so many things that we can put roadblocks in our way, But if we just keep moving forward, they're going to move.
Well, that's it. That's what's so interesting is that all of our fears, for example, me fearing that my painting was going to get here safe. I mean, what did I, and then I create a situation so that it doesn't get here safely. So again, your credit score, if you wanted to worry about it and make it a big deal, then it would have kept you from ultimately getting a place.
It probably slowed down the energy a little because we ended up in like a hotel for a couple of weeks and, kind of sitting and waiting to hear. Like it definitely slowed down the energy. I have no doubt. But it's part of our process, just like your is part of your
exactly part of my process. It's so interesting.
So interesting. All right. So that's a wrap, right?
That is a wrap. One other mention I just wanted to throw out there is be sure to check out our meditations.
People are loving the
oh my God, the meditations of people have been look at the Real Onez Facebook page and the money farm. People are planting their money farms, which is one of the meditations on our, and I was thinking, is this our CD? Is it an album? I don't even know what it is. It's our compilation. I don't know. Anyway, there's 8 amazing meditations that people are, shifting and feeling
great.
Going to
change you on your subconscious level. So it's changing you at in your cellular.
Right. Because the music has theta binaural beats in it, which takes you to a whole new place of deep, deep, deep meditation, which allows you to go into your subconscious and actually shift and change what's in there. So it's
yourself to receiving, like the ultimate in receiving mode.
So go to the website, the Real Onez, ONEZ.com, and check it out.
We have to offer, and we've got a retreat coming up that we are.
That's right. We have a retreat.
Looking more like summer now.
It looks more like July. Again, we're trying to, feel into it. This is the thing, guys, about the Real Onez is we're literally just listening to our hearts. We're doing exactly what we talked about today on today's show. We are listening to our hearts, meditating, just feeling our way into this. So if it feels like, gosh, they don't know what they're doing or, they keep changing their minds.
We're acting on our highest excitement and we're saying yes at every turn. And sometimes it's going to work and sometimes it's not going to work. And that's the only way that we're going to know. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And once again, one more plug for our online coaching, because seriously, it's
epic.
We have a very intimate group right now. So if you want to get in and get some, it's going to be a conversation like Goldyn and I have with each other, but you're going to be a part of it. So, jump in now. And
the information that's coming through it's leading edge. And there's no doubt in my mind that every single person that takes part in this is going to shift exponentially.
Yeah.
Including us.
Yeah, including us. And that's partly why we're doing it is because, we're teaching exactly what we need to learn. And so, you just get to be there right along with us as we're up leveling. So will you.
Amen.
All right. Well, that's a wrap.
Let us know if you have questions or need support. We are here for you. We're here to keep you awake. We are here to wake you up, keep you awake, help you remember, and to stop the process of always forgetting.
That's right. Absolutely. Okay. We love you guys. Peace out.